Hello, my name is Ben Poudre, and for my video conclusion, I want to talk about what I personally took away from CMST 3186 and how this class just overall changed the way I understand propaganda and the general broader landscape of things. So honestly, before this course, I had a much more basic idea of what propaganda was. I mostly thought of propaganda as old war posters, dictators, political lies, more politics, governments trying to brainwash people, so on and so forth. I pictured propaganda as something far more obvious, like a message that you could just immediately point and say, oh, that's propaganda. But after going through this entire class, I realized that's not always that clear. Propaganda could be a lot more subtle, and honestly, it shows up in everyday life way more than I expected. Now, I see propaganda as overall just communication that's designed to influence how people think, how people feel, and also just how people act. A big part of creating a simplified version of reality that benefits whoever behind the message kind of communicates towards. That's kind of what I think of propaganda now. But what really changed my thinking over the entirety of this course is propaganda does not have to be fake. Like, sometimes it uses real information, sometimes it highlights certain details, but mostly just leaves out other details. So it's kind of framed in a certain way that it's like it has to be seen in a certain lens of whoever is giving out that message. So that's one overall major lesson that I learned from this course. It could feel true even when people are not getting the full picture. Like I said, I think of it like looking inside the box. So if you have an entire box and you look outside of it, that's like looking at the propaganda and being able to see, okay, this is propaganda. But if you're stuck in the thinking where you're still inside the box, then it's a little difficult to really escape that way of thinking, of being like, oh, this is propaganda. It honestly takes a lot of critical thinking skills, but one part of the course that stuck out with me was the wartime propaganda. I know in my first analysis, I wrote about World War II from the US, from Japan, and also from the allies of Japan, which were Nazi Germany. So what stood out to me mostly was that I really understood that propaganda was not always just about making people believe something, but it was always about getting people to act a certain way. For example, in the US, there were messages about careless talk where people were warned about that if they said too much or spread too many rumors, that it could end up helping the enemy. So that example really changed how I viewed propaganda, because it showed me that propaganda could stay something as normal as a conversation, and it could actually turn into some type of patriotic duty, depending on who is pushing out that message. So yeah, that's one overall couple examples that I just gave, but yeah, that's my overall summary of how I felt about propaganda moving on throughout the course, and how I changed my overall view of what propaganda was before taking this course, during taking this course, and after. So thank you very much. I had a great time learning about everything that I did in this course. So thank you.